Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today talking about this. Now this is the Officers Action Working Dress shirt, the Royal Navy Officers Action Working Dress shirt, which formed part of the kit and uniform, the mannequin of the month this month. I thought it was worth having a look at this separately and talking a little bit more about how this has been modified for officers' use. They weren't initially designed with the wear of officers' rank as part of the design, and from that point of view these had to be modified for use by officers. The Royal Navy's Action Working Dress, to just run over a brief history, was introduced basically at the end of the Second World War. It was trialled around that time period and then was standardised by the early 1950s. And this is a 1950s shirt, so the pleated pockets on the front here, concealed buttons on the pocket flaps, and these were worn through into the 1960s. Obviously they were worn until they wore out, so there was a sort of transition period every time the design changed. Action Working Dress, the number 8 uniform, was worn right the way through into the introduction of the personal clothing system, and it basically consisted of a lighter blue shirt and very dark navy blue trousers. Various different patterns of trousers and shirts would be used over the years. This particular example is a 1950s example, as I say. You can see it opens all the way down the front. We're missing a button up here, unfortunately, and this one is broken. They are large 2-hole buttons, so they're the same sort of size as battle dress buttons, but they have 2 holes, so they're very big shirt buttons, basically. I need to try and find something similar to these, or just something close enough to replace the button missing here and replace this broken one potentially as well. But it's not too bad for display, particularly with the life jacket, of course. That hides the problems at the front here with the broken and missing buttons. So as I say, Action Working Dress initially designed for wear by ratings. There wasn't really any consideration of officers wearing rank on these, so they had to be modified. Of course, ratings could wear their arm badges, or Chief Petty Officer would wear a badge up on the breast to show substantive and non-substantive rate, respectively, as required. And that worked very well. They used blue on white badges, and it was quite clear. Later on, name tapes would be worn on these as well in various different forms. For officers, shoulder rank would be worn, but the shirts were not designed with this in mind, as mentioned. We'll have a close-up look now at how the shoulder boards, which we have here, or epaulettes, how they attach onto this. These are essentially the design of shoulder boards or epaulettes which were used with tropical uniform. They were also sometimes more permanently affixed to other garments. Greatcoats, for example, used boards like this to denote rank, but they were more permanently attached to greatcoats. I do have an officer's working dress, a tailor-made officer's working dress blouse, basically the Royal Navy's version of battle dress, which has holes in the shoulders for attaching boards like this. But the shirt, as I say, the Action Working Dress shirt, did not come with any provision for wearing shoulder rank like this. So we'll have a quick look now up close at how the shirt's been modified in order to fit these shoulder boards. Looking at this in close-up here, you can see the epaulette attached onto the shoulder of the shirt here. As you can see, this particular example has a black backing and black laces. More commonly, these had a white backing and white laces for wear on tropical uniform. I don't particularly know why this has a black backing, but it seemed appropriate to use it on the shirt here, as mentioned previously in Mannequin of the Month. We have a King's Crown button there, as you can see, and obviously the single bar for Sub-Lieutenant, with the ring steaming forward, as it were. If you imagine this was a paddle wheel turning that way round, you'd be steaming ahead, going towards the front of the wearer, if you will. That's how they should be worn, and the cuff rank mirrors that as well. The top ring on the right cuff, and this is the right hand side of the shirt, the right shoulder, but on the right cuff the ring would be in the same form as we have here. If we look inside here, you can see how this attaches. We have the laces down below here tied off in a bow, and then we have a split ring here which attaches the top of the epaulette. So if I remove this, the button is loose, of course, so it might pop out, but we have there we are, the button has popped out, and there it is. So you can see the button there passes through the hole and then through the hole in the shirt. Put that to one side along with the split ring, and then if I undo this bow here, pull the laces free as well, and you can see how the shirt has been modified. Shirts weren't manufactured with this, but you can see here we've had a hole added and 2 holes added down here. They have been stitched in relatively neatly, and this shirt has been modified in that way for officers' use. So a close-up of that modification here, as you can see. So as you can see there, it's relatively simple to modify the shirt, the 3 holes on each shoulder, in order to fit boards like this. And until the introduction of shirts with epaulettes in the 1970s, the late 1970s, this is how officers wore rank on the number 8 Action Working Dress uniform. Shirts with epaulettes were introduced around the same sort of time that ratings were receiving shoulder rank. So shoulder rank badges, which we've talked about previously on the channel. There is a video covering those. That was introduced for ratings as well, for wear on the shirt, and at that time the wearing of the substantive rank on the arm of the uniform disappeared, and you would see a change there, and you'd be wearing the rating badge up on the shoulder rather than on the arm. And of course in those cases officers could wear rank slides rather than full shoulder boards like this on the existing epaulets on the shirt. So that sort of changed the method of doing things. I hope you found it interesting looking at this. I thought it was worth having a up-close look at how this has been modified. I do hope you have found it interesting. If you have and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.